Cleanse, manifest, and rise and repeat. You better cleanse, manifest, and rise and repeat. You better
Cleanse, manifest, and rise. 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 I can do this with my eyes closed. Stay woke, they telling lies, though. Earth angels on the rise, yo. Manifest a new life, bro. Cleanse your soul from strife, though. Cleanse your soul from strife.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It go all the way up to 9. And if numbers make the world go round, then who the hell am I? Ask them why they lie. They sing you a lullaby. Reflections like who am I? Cleanse before you arrive. Don't forever confuse your little baby for what's mine. Never going to comply.
Never gonna lay
Gotta
down.
stand for something.
Stand for
If
something,
you stand
for
for
anything.
nothing, that's what you manifest.
Nothing.
So that's why I'm protecting everything that's mine, especially my mind.
Cleanse, manifest, and rise. 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 Welcome, you guys. Welcome back to Wounded Healers Podcast. I am your host, Honey the Priestess. In this episode, we are going to do a comprehensive overview of understanding mother wounds. Okay, so I know that this topic is very, very important. Okay, I feel like every topic that I cover on this channel obviously is very important. And it is, I'm being guided to deliver certain messages, right? And when we talk about these topics or certain things, I know that my purpose is to touch on the things that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. A lot of people are afraid to accept. A lot of people are in denial about certain family dynamics and certain dynamics or certain things that takes place on a spiritual or a cellular level. And so this is why, I do this podcast, to be able to bring a different perspective to you guys about real life situations, real life scenarios that many of us, if not all of us, or especially chosen ones, experience. But you don't have to only be chosen. Chosen just means to answer the call. So most of us, if not all of us, are going to experience some, if not all, or many or most of the topics that I cover on this podcast. So, this is, I think that, a lot of you guys are going to love this as well. Stay tuned for the next episode because we're going to take a dive into a comprehensive overview of father wounds, because I think it's very, very important to cover the masculine and the feminine energy. Okay. So, we're just going to get right into it. So as we know, in your journey through life, you may have encountered the term mother wounds, right? This is a phrase. It encompasses a range of emotional and psychological injuries that stems from a complicated relationship with your mother or a maternal figure. These wounds can manifest in various ways. It can affect your self-esteem. It may affect your relationships and just your overall mental health. So this is why it's important to explore this concept, as understanding it can lead to healing and personal growth. So first of all, let's talk about what are mother wounds. How do you identify mother wounds? Okay? Mother wounds refer to the emotional scars that result from unmet needs during childhood, specifically in relation to the mother-child bond. These wounds may arise from a mother's inability to provide adequate love, adequate support, validation, okay, whether due to her own struggles or societal pressures or personal limitations. Consequently, you may find yourself grappling with feelings of abandonment, unworthiness, or inadequacy, which can persist into your adulthood. Okay, so what are the common signs of mother wounds? So, all right, so first of all, you got to know that recognizing the signs of mother wounds in your life is going to be the first step toward healing, because if you can't recognize and if you're in denial, right? You won't be able to step into healing. And I want you guys to understand that when it comes to talking about mother wounds and father wounds and parental wounds or guardian wounds, whoever it was that you had in your life, when it comes to talking about this is not to slight the parents in any way. This is about getting to the core of our truth, getting to the root of our issues, our childhood traumas. And some people's traumas are more hefty and heavier than others, but we've all been through certain traumas in life, whether it's been childhood or just adulthood. And a lot of these things stems from your parental figures. Okay? That's why they say the apple don't fall too far from a tree. Certain things you may act like, or you may have certain characteristics that if you don't have that type of relationship with your parents where they are open with you and they talk to you about the things that they've been through as a child, because this is all it is. It's just a cycle repeating itself. So it's not to slight your parents and to make them feel like they wasn't the best. It's simply to make sure that you go back and you get the tools that you need that you didn't have as a child at that time. And so that you can heal from a place that you're in now. And forgiving your parents if you need to forgive them, or your guardian if you need to forgive them. This is a journey of self-reflection. This is a journey of true healing. So again, I want you guys to understand that just because we having these conversations about our parents being wounded by our mothers and our fathers, remember, a lot of these things they didn't know. A lot of our parents, they didn't have the tools that they needed in order to really teach us or pass down to us what we needed. And that's why it's up to us to go to therapy, to get counseling, to do the work, to unravel or to address these root causes so that we can move on, and that we don't have to keep repeating these cycles for our children. Because y'all got to understand, at some point, we are going to be the ancestors, and we are going to be the elders that our children and their children, our grandchildren, look up to. So, it's just all about setting an example and doing things differently. Because I know our parents' generation, that was a whole totally different generation. A lot of them, they weren't able to communicate. They were not able to express. They don't know how. So a lot of the ways where they may have been with us, it was a reflection of what they did or did not get from their parental figures. But, times are changing. And now we are in the generation where we're able to rise up and say, okay, well, I know what I didn't receive as a child. This is where, it can be addressed, or this is how I can heal this. And again, like, I want to stress this enough. This is not about pointing the finger at your parent. It's like not about making them out to be a bad parent. This is all about you and your legacy, because you got to get to the root cause of things. You cannot put a band-aid on situations. All right. So again, recognizing the signs of mother wounds in your life is going to be the first step towards healing. Because if you're not able to recognize the signs that you have these mother wounds or these father wounds, it's going to seep out into all of your relationships, and you won't know what the hell the problem is. You won't be able to take accountability because you are in denial about some of the places where you may still have to heal. Okay? And that's okay. So here are some common indicators. It's going to be low self-esteem. You might struggle with self-worth. You might often feel inadequate or unlovable. All right? Whether now or at any point in your life. You're going to have difficulty in relationships. You may experience challenges in forming or maintaining healthy relationships. Okay? Often repeating patterns of emotional distance or conflict. You might experience perfectionism. This is a tendency to set unrealistically high standards for yourself, driven by a desire for approval or fear of failure. So you want, this ties into people pleasing. Emotional regulation issues. You might find it challenging to manage your emotions, leading to mood swings, anxiety, depression, bipolar depression, okay? Fear of abandonment. This is a fear that others will leave you. Okay? It often prompts clinginess in you or withdrawal in relationships. So these are just some signs that you may have some mother wounds. All right, you may have experienced at some point low self-esteem, difficulty in your relationships, especially maintaining healthy relationships, because you might not understand, you might have never been shown in real time, real life, what a healthy connection looked like. You may have been raised around dysfunction. You may have seen a parent that lived that life through fear. You may have been abandoned, and so now your way of how you deal with things is you're emotionally distant, or now your way how you deal with things is it's hard for you to adjust. It's hard for you to let go. You might be a perfectionist. You might set unrealistic expectations on yourself for no reason, right? Emotional regulation issues. And again, this ties into other things. This can develop as mental issues or mental challenges. All right. So the impact of mother wounds, the repercussions of mother wounds can be profound and far-reaching. They may shape your self-perception, your influence on your relationships, and affect your ability to parent effectively. Again, this is why it's so important to be honest and be real with yourself. Sit with that little child or sit with that vulnerable adult at whatever point, you were wounded throughout your life's journey. Especially if you have children or if you're looking to have children, because again, at some point, you won't have your parents to be the elders. They won't, you won't have them to go to for counsel. You are going to be the counsel for for the next generations to come. You are going to be the grandparent. But you got to know, you have to be wise enough to understand where, okay, you may have had a deficit in some way, shape, or form growing up or at some point along your journey. Stemming from a mother or a father. And that's okay, but you got to be able to recognize it in order to move forward, in order to be that wise counsel for your children and your children's children. So this is not a game, people. Like, you really got to be willing to face this. This is something that can be very triggering and hard for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to face the truth. They don't want to get to that core of what the issue is, or they don't want to make it seem like they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, right? They don't want to make it seem like they pointing the finger. They don't want to make it seem like they need something or that they lack something. But it's okay. Like, majority of us have experienced this. All right. So again, if you carry unresolved feelings of resentment or grief related to your mother, these emotions may unconsciously affect how you interact with your children or your parents. So I'm just going to reiterate again, you guys, how important it is to understand and really taking into account and have a comprehensive overview of what parental wounds are. If you're trying to grow and heal and create a family, a legacy, leave this behind for yourself, you have to address these things, because you will not be able to flourish the way that you would want to in your relationships, in your partnerships, in your marriages. You won't be able to flourish the way that you want. You won't be able to show up as that parent that you want to your children. So this is what it's about. It's time to put yourselves first. How do you heal mother wounds? Unfortunately, healing from mother wounds is possible. Fortunately, it is possible. So yes, healing from mother wounds, it can be done. All right, and here are several strategies you can employ. So first, you have to acknowledge your feelings. You got to recognize and validate your emotions. Understanding that your feelings are legitimate is crucial to the healing process. then you must seek professional support. So engaging with a therapist who specializes in familial relationships can provide you with the tools to process your own experiences and emotions effectively. You got to establish boundaries. If you maintain a relationship with your mother, setting a healthy boundary can protect your emotional well-being, at least until you feel like you've gotten to the point where you can regulate your emotions and still be able to be around your parent, right? Gotta practice self-compassion, compassion for yourself, because at that point you're gonna have to learn how to mother yourself from where you are. So if you're 40 years old and you just now addressing a mother or a father wound, right, at that point, from the point that you deciding to address it, is the point where you have to be a mother or a father to yourself. You have to mother yourself in that scenario. So since we're talking about mother wounds, whether you're a male or a female, you're gonna have to mother yourself. Practice, again, we said practice self-compassion. You got to cultivate a kind and understanding attitude towards yourself. And this is going to help alleviate feelings of feeling inadequate. Connect with your inner child. Engaging in exercises that nurture your inner child can help you address unmet needs and foster a sense of security and love. So, let me bring it all back, okay? In conclusion, understanding and addressing mother wounds is an essential step toward personal growth and emotional well-being. And by recognizing the impact these wounds have on your life, you can begin to heal and cultivate healthy relationships with yourself and others. But you must remember that the journey may be challenging, but it is also an opportunity for profound transformation and renewal. Trust me, you guys, you will not regret doing the work to heal yourself from these mother wounds. You will not regret it, because you deserve to live a fulfilling life, free from the constraints of the past pain. It doesn't matter, well, in this case, we're talking about parental wounds and mother wounds. Yes, you deserve to live a life unburdened by the constraints of childhood trauma, childhood wounding, or just, it doesn't have to be childhood, you guys, adult wounding from your parents, from your mother. Whatever it is that happened to you, whether it was unconsciously or not. Sometimes your parents don't really understand the effects that they have on you, that the things that they say or do, or their actions and their choices and decisions, they may not understand the effects that they're going to have on their children. But it's up to us to be able to speak now. Our parents, they weren't given the tools from their parents to be able to know how to parent effectively. And if we can look at it from a place of compassion for our parents and be able to forgive and understand them and their struggle and being a parent, then we should be able to have that same compassion for us, for being a child and having a parent who didn't truly understand, who wasn't really truly to be able to give to us. But in that, and having compassion for yourself, you have to be able to address these wounds, okay? And again, it's going to be a transformation. It's going to be a profound transformation and renewal. You will not regret it. And I'm telling you, even after you address these mother and these father wounds, your relationship with your parents is going to be so much more better, because now you have certain answers and clarity that you may have sought for yourself subconsciously. See, a lot of times we put off things because, again, we don't want to hurt our parents. A lot of things that may come up over time, whether through meditation or whether through different other relationships, when you get with someone, when you take a partner and certain wounds, are coming up, you're triggered by certain things, you may not understand why. You might think that it's from the partner or it's from certain stresses of the relationship, but really, you never addressed this childhood trauma of yours. You never addressed this trauma or this wounding that you have from this parent, and you living with it, and you've never been able to express it to anyone. And the way how it's coming out is seeping out in all areas of your life. And it's, if you still have a intact relationship with your parents at this point, then it's like they're around you, but you're not even able to talk to them or communicate to them what it was how you've been wounded by them. And you still have an intact relationship with them. And I just urge you guys, if that's one of your scenarios, I urge you guys, this year, have the tough conversations with your parents. Let them know what they did that wounded you. And if you can't have it with your parents first, go to a counsel, go to a therapist, talk to them first. Learn how to unravel what it is that you've been through. Because some of us can't even begin to express, or we don't even know where to start, right? And this is, just take this message if it resonates, because it's not going to resonate with all people, but if it resonates with you, then, it's for you, obviously. But this is something that we're all, or again, many of us are going to experience. And again, you guys, just know that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free of any and all constraints. And it starts with the mother and father wounds. Say what you want, fight me about it. I said what I said. It starts at home. So if you become adult and you think that whatever it is that you got going on doesn't stem from some type of wounding from a parent, you already at a deficit. You already at a setback, because you in denial. The first step is to recognize it and accept it, so that it's like, don't go against yourself, y'all. Accept where you've been wounded and hurt by your parents. That way you can forgive them and we can move on and we can all live our life and be happy. But until you put yourself first and you address where you have been dealt a shitty hand, or where you have been inadequate or wounded in some way, and how it affected you as an adult, whether you understand how it affected you or not, just sit and reflect and think about some of the things that you may have been through with your mother. All right. And see how it make you feel. And from there, you'll understand if it's a wound, or if it's just a past memory. You'll understand the difference. But just be real with yourselves, y'all. All right, I love y'all. Until we meet again.